and we got PyCharm ready to go. Let's make sure we're doing this fun. We're just gonna make a little game today. Just want to see where I'm making sure I'm starting at. Uh, what we're really gonna do is just kind of create a Python game where we can move our ball around. So first thing, of course, we need to do is create our main Python file, and we'll just call it. We're gonna call it game. It's the easiest thing to do. Game.py. And so the first thing we need to do is make sure we put all our stuff there. Created by, and let's just do created on, and we'll put today's date. And there we go. Okay, so first thing, of course, we're going to do is import PyGame. That makes it pretty easy. And we're going to just do our basic stuff that we normally do. So we need to make sure is running equals true. We want to start running at first. Let's go ahead and make our while loop. While is running, and then just go ahead and do our pass, and then that's good. So we want to initialize our Python. So let's go ahead and do that up here. PyGame dot init. We got to initialize, and we're gonna go to the bottom and just go ahead and make sure we quit the end PyGame. Quit, and then what that makes, we get all our cleanup and our initialization up. All right. So next things we need to do is go ahead and we'll use a clock object and other kind of stuff here soon, but we just want to start small and we want to get our stuff moving on the screen. So let's actually get it where we can pop up the window and then be able to exit it cleanly and have all our inputs nice and neat. So let's go ahead and do that. So we want to make sure we have our, let's do our game window equals pygame.display.setMode, and then we need a resolution for it. We're just going to go 800 by 600 for now. We will make variables for these later, and then that should be good there. So now we have our game window, which is a surface, and then it should pop up. Now we need to make sure that we can quit this with our inputs. So we get all that for it right now, but let's go ahead and make it where we can do these inputs in here. So I'm going to do events, or game events equals pygame.events.get, and that should give us all our events. Now we can go through a loop. So for event in game events, we can loop through if event.type equals double equals pygame.quit, big quit, not the method, the function quit, but the big quit, like the actual enumeration of quit. We want to make sure that we can actually get out of this. So we want to go is running equals false. And that should be able to get us out with a little X button. Next thing we want to do, next thing we want to go ahead and do is if event.type equals pygame.keyDown. This means if we're pushing down, like the moment we tap a button, and if that event is that key, event key is actually pygame.k escape, this is keyboard escape. We want to go ahead and quit again. So is running equals false. So we can do other things like put up a prompt to ask if they really want to quit or anything like that. But right now we just want to make sure we get this window open and closed. So let's run that real quick. We got our window open, easy peasy, and we can quit. Nice and easy. So if we really wanted to, we could skip this whole line. We know we want to quit out of it. And break. We can break out. Break. We can break out a loop. There we go. We can break. And then it should happen a little quicker because we don't have to go through all the events. We just use instantly. Yeah, just a little quicker. Okay. So now we do that. So now what I want to do is go ahead and create our little character that we can move around. And we're going to go to create a new file for that. Well, another thing we need to do right quick is just for future sake, we want to go to our game window.fill. And we want to just fill it with a black. We'll do a background color eventually, but we want to just get started on this. So we fill, okay, so we fill, and then we want to go pygame.update, display.update. So now we're going to update. So this is where we get our update we update our variables first. We can gather input. Then we update based on the input, and then we would do our render. So that's good. Okay, so easy peasy lemon squeezy. Let's go. All right, so that's easy. Let's go ahead and create another file in here, new Python file, and we just go player.py. All right, so we have a player. So same thing. We're just gonna copy and paste. We created the same day. Go ahead and copy the import PyGame. We may not need it though, but we want to make a class this time, and we want to make our capital player object. We can import our inherit from object if we want to. Our player class, or our simple player class. Okay, so there's a couple methods we're going to need. Of course, we need our def init, and then we can just do a pass for now. We want to make sure that we have an update or move or something, you know, of that nature. So def, let's see, update's fine. And we want to render, and def render self. We can call it draw. I think Python does more draw, and PyGame does more draw stuff, so that's fine. So in here we set up our base, our player class. Update player class by 1 frame. Draw current frame of player class. Alright, so there we go. So easy peasy. We're gonna have a move, we're gonna have all this other stuff too. All that fun things. There's a couple things we will need in this. We probably will need a color, so let's get our player color in here. So self.color equals, let's just make it red for now. So 28500. Oops. We'll probably need a size. Let's just do, we'll need position, self.position equals, let's just make it empty. We'll just set them at the very top right now. And then we want to make it a list so that it can actually be modified. We don't want our color to be modified. Not right now anyways. Alright, so now we need a, what else do we need? We're just going to be a block right now. So I guess we need a rect. But what we're going to do, and I don't think I'm doing this right now, we'll eventually want to turn this into a sprite. Let's do this real quick. We'll just get it moving first, then we'll probably turn it into a sprite instead of an object. Alright, so we want to get this to move around. DT will probably need, our update will probably need DT. Draw, we will just need a surface to draw this on, so surf. Alright, so, and we're just going to draw a rect, so pygame.draw rect, and then we need to give it a surf, so self.color, and then we can do self.rect. We haven't made one yet though. Okay. We can just make a self.width and height, self.width and height. So we want width and height. Width equals, let's just say 100, self.height equals 200. That's kind of tall. Let's take that down a little bit. Let's just do 20 and 40. We don't want to be that size of our screen, so 40. My button's really dark. Alright, so self.rect. If we do a rect, we want to do XY. Well, we can just do this. Self.rect is just going to be 0, 0, 0, comma 0. Well, it's self.position first. So self.position 0, self.position. I don't know why I can't type today. I don't like using a laptop keyboard, guys. And then we want to do self.width, self.height. Alright, there we go. That should work out. That should get us our rendering done. That's pretty easy. Update, we weren't even going to move that right now. That's fine and dandy. Alright, so let's get it at least rendering. So we want to import player now. Import player. And we can create a player right here. So my game player, or my player, equals player.player. We haven't got anything set up for it just yet, so I keep wanting to do semicolons. You know where my brain's been. Player.player, so it's automatically set up. we don't have all default values. We don't need anything else right there. So we have a player. So now what we want to do is just do my player.draw, and then we need to give it a surface, which our surface is game window. And then let's see what this happens. So now we got our player up in the top left corner. We can make it a little bit bigger if we want to. Let's actually just make him 30 by 30. We'll do this first. We're not going to use gravity. We want to make him move around. There we go. We can make him a circle too if we want to, but I think 30 by 30 is fine. Okay, so we need to make him move around. So we have inputs already. The pressed game pressed equals PyGame key.getPressed, and then we have a list of pressed. So we can do, let's just use our WASD. So let's do, well, we don't even need to do that. Let's just give these to our update method, so our input method. So we can do this. We could do def input self, and then we need our inputs. So we could do events, and we could do pressed, and then we can just grab them this way. So again, we can set these as self too. Self dot events equals an empty list. Self dot pressed equals an empty list. Oh, there we go. So now if we do self dot events equals eventee, self dot pressed equals pressed. There we go. So if we're in update, we can actually do this now. We can do the same thing. So if we want to be able to move left and right, we can say if self dot pressed, and we do pygame dot k w. So that'd be our up, right? We want to subtract our position y. So self position minus equal, just do minus equal 1 for now. We'll get dt and everything else in there later. So let's just make sure that works. We gotta make sure we plug that in when we get this. So we would do right here my player dot input, and we would give it events, game events, and we would give it game pressed. We can actually just use game events if we want to, and we could get our own pressed if we had to. But let's see what we can do with this. So if I do w, so we don't have our update being called yet. So now we got our inputs, my player dot update. All right. So and we don't have dt yet, so we'll just give it 0. We're just feeding in 0 because we're not actually using dt. Okay. So okay, what is this? This is int. Oh, we didn't have a breakup. So 0. There we go. We didn't. Well, we want 1. That's fine. We got it. I don't know why it's WW. It's fine, whatever. Alright, so we can move now. Alright, so let's go here. We got event. So we can just do this a couple more times. There we go. We can move. Okay, cool. Alright, so now we need to make sure yeah, we can go with DT now. So we need to make our delta time. So delta time, let's make sure we have a clock. So game clock equals pygame dot time dot clock, capital because it's an object. And then what we can do here is at the very beginning we can do delta game delta time equals game clock tick. We're going to divide it by 1,000 to get it to seconds for us. There we go. And then we can feed that into our update dt. And then for our update, we want to make sure that we're multiplying by dt. And we'll probably want to go faster than this too. So we'll probably need to give our player a speed and then use that instead of having it be just 1. So now we're going to move really slow because it's 1 pixel. Oop, dt is not defined. Oh, dts. Where's dt not defined? Oh, sorry. Game delta time is what we need to give it. That's my mistake. So we're going to move really slow now. super slow. So we need to give a player speed. We need player speed. So self.speed equals, let's do, for every every second we want to move at least 15 pixels. So that's good. Now we just have to do multiply by self.speed as well. So self.speed, and the one's really unnecessary at this point, but we're going to leave it in there just in case you want to change that to some type of modifier later on. But yeah, so we got 15 pixels. When we're going diagonal, we're actually going a little faster, and we can change this, and we'll get onto that next time. But we don't want to go 15 down and over at the same time. We want to make sure that's clean and organized. So what we can do is actually do a little math. If we do math, we can actually figure out the angle we actually want to go, which is pretty simple to figure out. But let's actually go ahead and do that. So if we want to, we know left, right, up, down. Instead of actually applying our speed to this, we can actually have self.direction. And this will help too if you want to use analog sticks and you want to have multiple directions instead of just keyboard input. So we just give a direction, we'll set it to 0, and that's fine. And then we can have some, actually let's do it at an angle. Yeah, that's fine. We can do this. This is a direction. But okay, so we know we have -1, +1, -1, +1. And we want to set it to where our player is going to move at a certain speed. So instead of just doing that here, we will just trigger if any of those things are being moved, then we will change the position of our player. So what we kind of need to do is figure out if any of those buttons are being pressed. How do we calculate if we're going a certain way? So what we can do is actually let's actually do this instead of. So we'll do our slope. We'll take a temporary slope. I don't know, I can't spell. There we go. And what we're going to do is set it as 0, 0. Or this needs to be in our update, sorry. Our update. So our current slope is 0, 0. Now if we press any of these, we can actually set our slope the way we want to. So slope equals, and then this would actually want to be slope 0. No, sorry, slope 1. We want to set, if it's up, -1. Right? So this can go bye-bye. We're not going to be able to move after we do this, though. And then we want to go, for this, we want to go slope 1 equals +1. Okay? Then we want to do it on this one. Well, make sure we get all this ready. We're going to get a comment on all these. Same thing, slope. This will be slope 0 because we want the x. Equals, we want to do, if it's a, -1. And then on this one, we're going to do +1. So slope 1, or sorry, 0 equals +1. +1. Okay, so now we have our slope. So we know what our slope is. So we need to convert that over. So if our slope is not equal 0, 0. If it's not just zeros, then we'll do something fun with it. We want to actually calculate the angle, our directional angle, and then utilize that to go in the right direction. That way we're not going too fast in our angles, our directions. So what we want to do is go ahead and get that angle. So self.direction, or our angle, is going to equal half pi. And we don't have math included yet, so we need to go and import our math. So import, PyGame's already there, just do comma math. There we go. And then we get pi. So times pi. And then what we want to do is take this, and we're going to use something called atan2 to make sure that we're getting the right angle from our x and y offsets. So, and we actually want to do this real quick too. We've got to do our elif on this one, elif, because we don't want to do up and down at the same time. Okay, so math pi, and we want to take this times math.atan2, and then it's, as you notice, it says y then x. So make sure your y comes first, then your x. So we want to go slope 1, and then comma slope 0. Okay, and from there, we should actually get a good direction of our heading, and I believe it's in radians. And so from there, now we got to figure out how to make our character move in the right direction with the right speed. So even when we're going diagonal, we're going the proper speed. We're not applying extra speed to the diagonals. And this will help if you have like an analog stick or pressure sensitive controllers. So we need to do player Actually, self.position, and then we want to do 0. So what this is going to be is we need to take the positive, I believe it's sign. So sign, positive sign. So math.sign, and then we want to take the sign of our angle, so self.direction. And then from here, we're going to do something similar on the opposite side, because tangent, you got to do sine and cosine on the opposite one. So position 1. Then we want to do the negative, because we got inversed on our y, math.cosine, not copy, self-direction. But this isn't done. We also need to incorporate the player speed and the delta time. So times self.speed times dt, and do the same thing from here. So what it was is I accidentally typed times math aton 2. It's supposed to be plus. This should get us to the right place where we want to be. So now we can move down, we can move right, we can move left, move up, and our diagonals are pretty sweet too. So if we want to make this a little quicker, we can. We can just increase our player speed. Let's do 35, and that'd be pretty good. That's about, it's a little, there we go, yeah. So easy peasy lemon squeezy. Now we can move around, and it's always the same speed everywhere around. It's pretty smooth. I don't know if the recording's gonna be smooth, but on my screen it's really smooth. So easy peasy, and we can move around. So that's good, and that's gonna probably be it for now. We just want to make sure we can move around pretty smoothly. Now if we take this and we mix it with our map creator, we can start moving around the map, and then from there we'll just start doing collisions. So we'll go into sprites and see how sprites actually collide with those functions that are built into the PyGame. So I hope this helped you guys. I'll put the code up on there, and you guys can utilize it and play around. But this didn't take us that long to build, and it's pretty clean and simple. We're doing a little bit of inheritance with the object technically, but then we're doing calculations to make sure that we can move smoothly across the screen in all directions if we're going to use an analog stick. Right now we only have the cardinal directions, so there's not really a way to move any diagonals except for the at 45 degrees. So it's hard to tell that it's super smooth. But if you have an analog stick, you can add that to the analog sticks, which we can talk about next time. So if you guys have questions, just let me know, and we'll figure out how to answer those in the next one. All right, bye.